Thanks for joining in. Appreciate people that are already in on the session. Good day to all. So we'll wait for a few minutes for people to join in. So we continue the session what we did last week. We will use the same kind of a string this week also. I need more people to create and share, make me more happy. That's where you get your happiness doubling. Hola, Evelyn. So we'll just wait for another 2 minutes and then we will start the session. So if people are continuing on along with what we did last week, so just have your last week tile so that you would be able to replicate it across to this week. So just keep the tile in handy. Okay, so we're good to start. There are a few more people to join in. So we just wait while I introduce you that we will continue to breathe and we will choose the tangle and then we will enjoy it. And this is a small information about this session is I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, Maya. I'm authorized from Zentangle to take sessions, and this copyright of the session is solely to me, and I own it. No sharing of this on a commercial purpose or any other purpose. You could create it, enjoy it from this session. So the sole proprietorship of this copyright of this session is with me, and So we're good to go. And so we will be doing with our the common Zentangle tile, which is the branded Zentangle tile, which is a 3.5 inch. That's what we use it at in regular. So we use either 3.5 or a 4.5. Nothing beyond 4.5. If you'd be doing it, it's mostly a bigger artwork, which we call as a Zentangle inspired art. But on tractors or on to anything what we do, we use our 3.5 inch. If you do not have these style, you can either cut it across to this 3.5 inch, or you could draw it on a journal 3.5 inch onto your journal book or a sketchbook, what we call it as a sketchbook for you. So that's you could. And the pen what I'm using, I'm going to use only a single today black. It's a pen Sakura. Sakura is strongly recommended by us. So because we've seen the way it works and everything, so our strong recommendation goes to Sakura products. And we use the graphite pencil, which is the Zentangle graphite pencil. If you don't have these graphite pencil, you can use a normal graphite pencil or a 2B or 3B shade. And these are the two different types. One is called tortillon and other is a stub, or you could use a earbud if you do not. These are primarily used when you do a shading with the graphite. We just give graphite effect, and we just kind of give a smoothing, and which creates the magic to your work, which gives it kind of a three-dimensional, right? So this is what we're going to use. These are the tools what we will be using to create it. So before we start in the session, let's do our regular warm-up of making yourself comfortable. So let's make ourselves comfortable, and just relax yourself and just calm yourself. Keep all the thoughts which has been there just before you started this session way away, and end of the session also they would be away till the end of the session. And as and when you practice, this is going to help you out. So we're going to take conscious inhale and exhale of our deep breath, and I will guide you to take the inhaling and exhale it. And during the course of the 6 count, whatever we be doing it, towards the end you can give gratitude whomever, or overall you want to give it gratitude. You could give anyway gratitude from your heart or a mind to whomever you want to give gratitude. It could be gratitude to yourself also, that's fine. So I will take a normal deep breath. Just take your inhale and exhale. Take a normal deep breath, and I will, as I said, take a deep breath, take a nice deep breath, and slowly exhale it out. And when you're taking a deep inhaling, just take nice thoughts into your mind, and exhale whatever you don't want it from you. Just exhale it out while you're breathing it out. Take a nice deep breath. Slowly exhale. Take another 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 deep breath. Exhale it slowly. Take another deep breath. And exhale it slowly. Thank you. And open your eyes slowly. Yeah, you're good to start. We're going to use the same, so it's again for people who have joined in, just a copyright which tells that this session is solely in mine and no commercial use of the session. So we're going to use, we did last week this style, so we'll continue to use this to draw our string this week. So, and before we do the string, let's get our pattern practiced. So today we're going to do two patterns. We're going to do first pattern called as forgiving. It's by Judy. Genovese. Okay, it's a nice pattern. It goes with that what you draw is a square. It can be a little curvy. I hope you can get to see it. It's just a square what you do, and what we'll do, and it has to be curvy on all your four sides. It has to be curvy. We're not drawing a straight square, we're drawing a little curvy square. So this is it, and on each of these squares, wherever there is, we were going to draw rice pearl on all the four sides. I was wanting to do fragments, but then this kind of a pattern kind of got kicked onto me. So right, so now what we will do is we will do again where we've done this rice, there again we will draw another square. So this is going to lead you to do the next pattern. So again we're going to do this rice, right, and again we're going to do a rice out here and a rice. So basically you will have 4 when you start for a square, and then it will keep going as a 3. So now what you're going to do is we're going to draw again here. They can be big squares, small squares, they need not be uniform. That's all fine. Just enjoy. Just keep enjoying. That's what is important. Right? So this is going to be a common one. So we're going to draw. So we keep continuing. So you can keep continuing whichever area. Now assume you wanted to do it in a border. So you will continue it in this particular line. So now we want to do it in a central area. So we can continue. So this is going to be our central point. Now what we do is in the central, you will draw another flower. A small flower. Okay, and you will do another small one on this particular gap, and whichever is that empty space, we can ink it up. Just a nice one. It's a nice pattern. And right, so you can do again the same thing, or if you want to do it, you don't want to do these organic ones, you can do another aura inside, and you can do 1/2 and you can ink it up. You can do that. Or you don't want to do this also, you don't want more of inking, you want it more lighter, you can do 1/2, you can do a line out here. So you can do, but I love this main one, which is this kind of a flowery, and it looks nice. So I'm just going to show you the pattern. See, just see this, they look pretty. So right? And what you can also do is these ones you can just ink it in the corner edges. You can just do an inking of this corner edges, okay, or you can just do the shading, or you can do another small inner aura and ink it. So you can do a lot of stuff on those parts. You can keep your creativity can bloom. But what I'm primarily going to do is I'm just going to use this and I'm just going to do shading of, that's all I'm going to do it. This is going to be one of our pattern. Another pattern is again very simple fragment I'm going to use. I'm using a fragment, but again I'm doing a little variation to the fragment. Okay, let's go here. I'm just going to divide this into 3 small grid, and I'm just going to divide it again, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do a central, the same, because to sync with this I've taken this pattern, so I'm taking again the same thing out here, but what am I doing is I'm just doing an aura. I'm doing an aura, and what I did was I'm just going to ink this in the center. And I'm going to go in a direction of this way and this way. So because I'm going to ink in the center, I've done it that way, so that's fine. So I'm going to do an up, down, up, down. Right? So this is going to be my center. I'm just going to ink this up. That's it. So I'm going to use these pattern, and I'm going to use this one. So forgiving and this particular pattern is what I'm going to use today, so that we will get a, it's called, this fragment is X7. The fragments are numbered by an alphabet and a number, that's how it's named in. So we're going to use X7. And the original pattern fragment is basically, it's like this, but I've just done it as an inking because I wanted to sync to this. You have small orbs inside. I'm not going to with this, I'm just going to ink it up. Alright, so we're going to go. So we're good to go. So we're good to go. So what we need, like I said, we would need the last class pattern, in the string for us to draw. So I'm just taking it. I'm just going to mark my corners out here. From this corner to this corner, I'm just going to mark it. And I'm just going to move it here. Right? I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to mark, because we are going to do end of this 4. We're going to have 4 of this. So to keep it in sync, we're just going on the, so we're just going all 4 sides. We're doing it. I think I'm a little away from the camera, because out here it is, but when I can get to see that it's little away. So what I did was I marked from this one to this one, and I marked again from this one to this one. So we will do it straight, so don't. And then I marked again this one to this one, and then I marked this one, so that they are in sync. Right? So now I'm going to use I'm just going to pull this. I'm just going to pull this up with my pencil very lightly. I'm just going to pull this light. Right? So I'm just going to pull this again here. And I'm going to rotate my paper tile. I'm just going to come here, right? So I've got this side. The same way I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this up here. I'm just keeping in approximately this area, and I'm just drawing my string. Right, and then I'm going to do the same one out here. I'm pulling it up and till I go. That's why you need to use your pencil very light. And if you see, my corners have been little dark, and see if you see it, these corners have been dark and these have been little lighter. So because your strings have to be on a lighter side, unless you want your string to be prominent, then you can use your pencil to be little on the darker side. Okay, so you've got this done. Now what we're going to do is, so I'm just going to draw again, put 4 dots. I'm not putting the 4 dots, I'm just going around it. I'm going here. I'm just going behind. So I have done. So basically I did my inner ones, and then I think last class I taught you to do it. You could do that also if you feel comfortable doing that. You can do that also by keeping your previous style. You can draw that also. You can join it up like that. If you find that be more easier, you can do that. So you can use what I taught last class or what I taught this class. So it goes here. So you've got this now, right? So next 2 classes, when we do again the same string, you will get this into a 4-piece puzzle piece, and then you can play around, right? So now we take this style, we keep the style away, and we go to our pen. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start my forgive pattern, which is what I told you. So I'm going to use my forgive pattern right at the centers, and then I'm going to use the fragment here. So to quickly finish, maybe I will do the fragment part out here. So I'm just inking my string back into with my pen. So if I feel I need to correct somewhere, I will be correcting my string. So I felt pencil was little inner, so I just corrected with my pen. And like last time I told you the trick, so do the corner one, the first grid, because it's a square grid. So, and then you can go. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and so you get a little smaller. So we get this. So now let's start from here. So just draw the lines, keep rotating it. Right? If you feel keep moving in and on, that's what we need to do. So then what you can do is just draw these. Just draw these. And then you could do your aura. Right? And we will now do the aura for everything. I'm not using a very fine pen, I'm using a pen, but the pressure on the pen, I'm giving it a little light. So here it is little smaller one, right? So we will do only one side, right? And then we can go ahead and ink it up. Now if you have a very thin pen, just go on a circular motion. Right, just go on a circular motion. Do it on a smaller area. Right, if you want to do the inking at the end, you can do the inking at the end, not a problem. Right, so now I'm going to do the aura. Because I was in the flow of inking, so I just went and inked it. So I'm just going to do the aura of this. So I see quite a few people have joined in now. So we're doing two patterns today. So I'm doing one of the pattern which is a fragment out here on this particular ribbon. So since if you are joining for this class only, so this is a string, we have done it. If you've joined continuing from the last class, keep your last tile together and draw your string. So keep your string and draw your marks, and then draw your marks on all four sides so that you get it on the same level. Take one stroke by one. Right, so we're done with this. So we're just going to ink up the full thing out here now. You might need to give me a minute because I might need to change my pen. I'm having a trouble on inking with this pen because I think its ink is getting over. So we're using another pen, same Sakura. So I've just done the inking there. I think my ink of this pen, I've been working on it, so the time for it is, so I'm just going to again ink on this side. Right, as usual, the trick to it was, I said, do the corner one so that you get a proper square. So you're getting this. Right, we're good. right? So what we're doing is we're going to do, so I'm going to keep this to the same one, so I'm just trying to replicate it. Right, so it's going up and down, same motion. So we're going, if these grids are not of the uniform, that's not a problem, and somewhere one is gone up and other one is, that's okay. It's just that your results are going to be different, like I keep telling. Right, so now we're just going to do aura. We're doing the aura for this pattern. Then we will do the center pattern of giving. This is a fragment which I'm using it out here. If you enjoy each stroke, and your strokes will be better off. If you kind of go off your focus is when your strokes will go, which is what is happening, because I have a tiny toddler pet at home. He's kind of running around here, so my concentration hopefully doesn't topple up something. I'm looking at it, so we are not going to do shading right now, because once we do the shading it will kind of get blurred into the other one, so we will not. We will keep always the shading towards the end. We're just doing the aura to the side. That's the pattern. If your grids are smaller out here, so that's fine. Right, I'm just going to ink with a bigger pen. So I've, instead of using a single pen, now I moved into using a 2 pen, because my pen ink has got over, I think, because I've been doing a lot of tangling with it. So right, I'm just going on inking it. So if you see, there's a difference when you ink it, your tangle becomes really enhanced, and that's how it does. Right, okay, we're left with this. Then we go into the center one. We will do the forgiving. If you remember that beginning of the session when we were doing our breathing exercise, I was saying exhale and try to let out whichever you want to let out. That was in sync to the pattern. To see, forgiving it is just that whatever you don't want, just let it out, and if it is bothering you, let them go out. Right, so now we're going to use this. So now I'm going to start from this side, and we will keep these two at the end. So I'm just going to go. Hi Shalini. So we're going to draw the square, curved square. And then we're going to draw the rice pearl. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to have this one. So this end I'm going to do again and again. So I'm just kind of closed it out here. Now the same place I'm going to just do this place. Yeah, I'm doing it. And if you see this particular place, I'm just going to draw the rice here, and I will assume that I'm going to do a small one here, and I'm just going here. So I just did a very small kind of projection, assuming that it is there on that side. Right, so we're doing two patterns. So we did a fragment called we used a fragment X7, right, and then we're using a pattern called forgiving out here. So this full central point is going to be a forgiven center point. Right, right, so if you see that, that's what I do. That at these edges I will see what is the thing, and I'll do tiny curves on those parts. Right, and people who are joining in, we're trying to sync in with the old string, last week's string and this week's string. So we've replicated the last week's string out here, and by keeping it this way, we marked earmarked, and we have done it so that we get a end of the fourth session. We kind of, that's kind of a tile which is linked to. In the center one, what we're doing is we are not drawing a straight square, we're drawing a curved square. Right, you can keep that space a little, or you don't want to give that space, that's fine. Right, so we're just making these outer pattern now, and then we will be doing the inking part of the inner one, how we're going to fill it up. So people who have joined in late, I just want to demonstrate, show it out. So what we did was this pattern, we're going to do this filling, and I showed different ways what you can do on the central part. If you want to do it a little different, you don't want it organic, you want a little more symmetric, you can use these kind patterns. And I said the fragment, I'm going to use this way of inking in center, not doing the orb. So this is small orbs which you can do it, you can do that way, but I'm trying to do this so that it kind of syncs to this pattern, and I chose the fragment to that. Right, so now what we're doing is we're just drawing the central pattern across. So I just did that. Right, we're just keeping your central square as your start point, and then we're continuing on it. So start drawing this pattern with drawing the first the square, which is a curved square, and then around it you will draw the rice pearl on all the four sides. That's how this pattern works. Your squares need not be of uniform size. They can be big, small, that's not a problem. But ensure there is enough space inside, because if you're going to do this organic flower inside, so you need some space inside. So don't do a tiny square. If you do a tiny square, then I kind of did a oop out there. So because that helps me also, I feel sometimes when it happens not consciously, and when it happens it helps me to demonstrate how you can ignore and continue. And primarily when I've noticed it happens for me is that when my thoughts focus goes, or I concentrate on talking, so that's when it happens. Right, so we've done the central one. Right, so it looks so simple, right? This looks so simple. Now when we do the inking part, okay, now if I noticed it, if I notice when I'm doing it here, I just noticed that my square out here is not straight. So I just went and corrected it. So at this particular part it is not much. Out there it was a little slight change to it, so I went and did that. So that's why we see, right, when you draw it and then you can correct it, that's why we use a pencil. So we're not going to go sync to this way, we're going to start. So I'm just going to start one small square out here. I'm not going to go basis what I've drawn there. Just going to start fresh. If it was a little more thinner line or something, then you could have continued, but since this is a broad one, so you can know what be behind it. So right, so this, right, so our 3/4 of our tile is done. So we quickly need to, so it may extend, I have a cut freely. Right, again I'm going to do a I'm leaving it little natural, but if you want to, you can look at what the angle is coming, this angle, and then keep continuing on that if you want to. Right, so we're done with. So now we are going to just fill the inner one. So we used two patterns, a fragment out here and a pattern called forgiving out here. Right, and then we're going to ink this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw and ink those space in between. It might miss, I might come back and ink it, so that's fine. Right, so I'm going to continue. I would feel comfortable while so if you see here, I'm just doing the corner petals. I know that what will come on the edge, so I'm just using those and I'm just doing that. Okay. The same way here. So I assume that this is going to be here, it's going to be here. Right, and I'm just going to do just light, very light stroke of lines. Right, so we'll continue filling it all out here. So I'm just going to do a little quick strokes. I hope I'd like doing it at the slow pace. I don't like hurrying, but I just hope. You can do the 6 petals or you can just do the 3 petals, how you have drawn your comfortable with. Not that you need to draw 6 petals. It's good if you're going to do with a 4 petal also, or you don't want these. If you feel uncomfortable with these petal strokes, then you can just do the squares or a square, small squares inside and do half filling, or you can just go geometrical. That's, I can leave it with you. Each of these sessions I've learned quite. I realized that I changed my phone instrument that has an auto focus on. So what happens on the class Insta, I'm not able to remove it. So it kind of zooms and kind of blurs. So when you see the IGTV also you have this sometimes, and when you're seeing on the live also you will find a little blurred going in and it trying to focus on. I'm trying to remove it, struggling. So that's kind of, right? So right, so we just have another 2 more to do here. You don't want to do this kind of a half pearl. You can do a small orbs also in that place, or you can just ink it up, just have 4 petals. Don't compare your strokes with someone else, just enjoy your strokes. It was so kind of a blank, right, when we did this, only this part, so you can see how flat is this. And now just doing the small ink embellishment like those petals out there, they kind of lift up the art. And this works good if you're using a fine tip pen, because you're going to ink the inner part of it. So the finer if you use it, your strokes are going to be really good. So we're just going to do this. And I just realized that here I'm not done, so I'm just going to do that. Right, so I'm just going to finish this part also. So at least our 3/4 of the tile will be done. It takes little time. Simple pattern sometimes takes less time. Sometimes, like these fillings and everything, your strokes are to be so we will go beyond 1 hour. And what I'm going to do, just show it out here, is that I'm just going to try to demarcate it out here by inking this particular bar a little more broader. Just to lift it up, I'm just going to do that. Right? So you can see the difference. So just to show how that difference is shown. Right? And this I'm going to do here. So since this is going to be next month is my, I've been doing 1 year session. So I thought people who have been coming with me regularly, my gratitude to them, people who are sharing it, or you people have been joining in new and then they're continuing and sharing their happiness. I wanted something to be taken and remember on the session. So these 4 tiles are interlinked. So I'm just going all these small spaces, I'm just going to do these outer ones. I'm just going to give those fine slight strokes. Right? So if you look at it, it kind of right. So let's just finish it up and then we will be able to admire. I'm just drawing all the circles. So I'm doing one common strokes. I'm doing one directional stroke. So you don't need to move your tile. So you can do right. Now we will be able to do this direction. Take a pause before you start your strokes and remember to breathe. That's very important. So as you breathe, each breath of yours, you're taking a strokes. So enjoy your strokes, enjoy your breath. Right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to keep this like this, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to do the, I'm going to go to each square and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do finally the inking. Yeah, he knows how my class session is going to get over. Comes with this, and he stands to indicate, no, my class is not over, you need to wait. No, not now. I don't know how many of you have pets. I think then you will understand what I am saying. Right, so now I'm just going to go ink around. He senses my class is going to get over, and he's played, so that's why he's like little tired, so he's coming to. If people have logged out, watching on live is much better than watching on an IGTV. And these kind of inking and kind of repeated one really kind of brings in focus and calmness and relaxation. You enjoy those relaxation. It may take time to do it, but the kind of the time you take to do it, you would really enjoy it. We just have another one more pattern to do. Then we're good to go for shading and finishing it and just appreciating it. I'll just do a small one stroke for each of these petals. Right, you're done. How are you liking it? How did you like this pattern? How did you like this pattern? Yeah, we have not done one thing, so which is just left. I just noticed. Just going back and doing that finish part of it. just right. So we are done with our, so we're just going to take and we're just going to do, I'm just going to do this one. I'm just going to do the inner one just on the corner, just on the edges of the string, just on the string corner. Right, and I'm just going to, and if you notice it, I had told that I darkened it up, so I'm not done here, so I'm just going to darken that up, so to give that a little right. Right, so then what are we going to just take the, now I'm just going to take my turtle on because stub, because I'm using a stub now. So I just, whatever graphite I used, I just slowly, and I'm just pulled it out. I pulled it out in one direction. Right, so can you see that difference that happened, that it kind of pulled up from being flat to that, right? So now thank you, Evelyn, gracious. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to do nothing much. I'm not going to do any of those individual forgiving pattern. I'm just going to do the outer side, just the outer side, and then I'll give an inking to the outer side with a pen. I'm just going to do graphite only on the outer side, just on the outer side, just doing it. I have not put much of graphite, very light graphite. You can, if you want to, you can put more graphite. I've just left it very little graphite. Now I'm just going to take my 08 and I'm just going to ink the border of this, what we did. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little more graphite. I'm just going to take a little more graphite, just going a little more graphite. I don't draw, we don't graphite, when you want to give thing, it's to flatten it and then do it. Just do a circular motion. That's it. I'm not going to do much. I'm going to just do a little more out here to just to say that this is lifting up. So I'm just going to put it out here. So you can do it on this direction also. right? And we're just going to compare your last tile to this tile and what we created from our last class onwards. See this. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see all the four. Just going to try moving it here. So when we finish our next two class, we will have another two, and then you want to play, you will be want to play it out here, you can move it around. And this central space is what you can make it. You want to fill it, you won't want to fill it, or you can have a small photo, or you can have another small tile and keep it. You can have another tile on this and you want to dangle on it, and you can want to, so you get another good piece of art. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to move my phone up a little to see. I think you will be able to see right now. So I have I told you, the autofocus of my. So I'm just trying, when will it stop? I'm not sure because I think my hand is shaking, so it's not getting to focus. So just let me keep it down. My right. So something important, what we need to appreciate and own it up. And I told you it'll take another 10 minutes for us to, because it was little small. So I chose to do a tan and I chose to do a white for the class. So I get to get a 8 piece. So I'm already got a 4 piece out here. And if I remember last class I was talking about it, the graphite kind of shines and on the camera, so that's how it is coming. This part is coming very light, but actually if you see it physically, if you see it, it is. So this is the swatch to this particular pattern. So that was the swatch pattern to the forgiving it. Because for my fragments, I've already done my fragments as pattern cards for me, so that's why I have a swatch out here. So these are my swatch for my fragments, so that's the reason I don't have a swatch card, so I have a fragment like this. So that's on my journal. So that's the reason I don't have a swatch for my fragments, because I've done as a ribbon fragments. So I'm just doing for the central ones. So do create it. Thanks, Sharon. So do create it. But this is a very simple string, very common string, and a very simple string, and just using 2 patterns we are trying to create it. So, and if you notice this, these are 2 same one, but they look different because of the shading and the tile and everything. You will find there is a difference on it. right? And if you see it here, I've left it for the class to show. I've shaded it more dark out here. I've not done any shading out here, so you can see the differences which is here, right? So gracious, thanks for joining in. We'll see you again next Tuesday, and do create it and get if your friends are not joined, please make them to join, so let them also enjoy what you're enjoying in. And I'm sure you're enjoying it. Zentangle makes you to enjoy it. That's what it is. So do share, create it and share it. I'm a little greedy, so I would like to see more of you doing it and sharing it. Don't be shy. I know many of you share it and I keep it personal, so don't, just share it. I would like to see it. What you create is what is beautiful. So what you're creating is beautiful. So just create and share. Have these beautiful classes happening now. So even day after tomorrow I have a class. So if any of you are interested to one of these advanced classes, do message me. Or you want to join for one beginners class, do message. Right? Thanks. Kirti, you joined. Kusuma Kirti, you just joined in. We just finished the session. We used 2 patterns and we did it. I would want to see you creating it. So we're doing class. We did this, and this is before class, and this is last 2 sessions, the class and the pre-class session. We put it together. That's what we're going to get to end of this 4 classes when we do for this month. So do create and see it. See you next week. If any of your friends are not on Instagram, they can follow me on my YouTube, because these sessions are there on my YouTube. Ciao. Thank you. Gracious. Buena Vista for the other side of the world. And good morning for the other side again. And good afternoon for the people from the UK. And good night for the people from the India and Asia side. Thank you.